are going to have a lesson about multiplying mixed numbers. We've multiplied fractions, we've got that under control. Now we need to learn how to multiply mixed numbers. And let's remind ourselves what a mixed number is. A mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. So it's going to have wholes and pieces. An example of that would be 7 1/4. And I also wrote that in word form for you. So 7 1/4. They aren't separate entities. They are one piece together. For example, if you jog 1.5 miles, you didn't stop at 1 mile and then go a half. You went 1.5 miles all at one time. So you would write them with your whole number the same height as your fraction so that you can tell that this is a whole number and that this is a fraction piece. So my suggestion when writing mixed numbers is to write the whole number and go halfway up the height and put your fraction bar and then write your fraction in so that you can make sure your proportions are right when you're writing your mixed numbers. So you should be writing this definition. If you need to pause now, that's fine. Go ahead and jump up and pause, and then when you're ready, continue. Okay, when you are going to, remember we're multiplying, we're not adding, we're multiplying. When you multiply mixed numbers and fractions or whatever, if there's a mixed number in that question anywhere, you have to change it to improper. So changing a mixed to improper is necessary when multiplying fractions. When you are multiplying fractions, you can't leave that mixed number as a mixed number and multiply across like we've been doing. You have to make it improper in order for that formula or that technique to still work. So you are going to change all the improper or all the mixed numbers in your question to improper before you begin. Here's an example. Your question is 1 2/7 times 1/4. In your question, you only have one mixed number right here. So that's the only number that you're going to need to change. The other one can stay exactly like it is. Let's review how to convert a mixed number to an improper. Here's your number 1 2/7. You're going to multiply your denominator by your whole number. 7 times 1. And what is 7 times 1? It is 7. But you're not finished. You have to add your numerator. So 7 times 1 is 7. Add 2 to that. That's going to give you 9. That's your new numerator. And you keep the same denominator. So 9/7 is the improper form of the mixed number 1 2/7. Does that make sense? So multiply, then add, keep the same denominator, then you can multiply straight across. You're going to sometimes get big numbers and weird improper fractions, and we can convert those to mixed. We know how to do that. If we don't, we can review it again before we get there. But you then, to solve this question, you multiply across. 9 times 1 is 9, 7 times 4 is 28, 9 over 28, and you're going to want to simplify that, okay? Alright, let's just take some time and practice. Okay, let's just take some time and practice changing mixed numbers into improper. So I want you to go ahead and write down all 4 of these that we're going to practice, and I just did a grid here to keep them separated. You have 2 1/3, 4 2/9, 1 2/10, and 3 7/9. And I want you to practice changing it from mixed to improper. I'm going to go ahead and do the first one for you so that you can do the last ones by yourself. Remember to multiply the denominator by the whole number. That's going to give us 6. Add this one. That gives us 7 over 3. So 7/3 would be what you would use for the improper to use in your question. So I want you to try these last 3 and see if you can come up with the answer. Okay, so We went over how to change all those mixed numbers to improper. So now let's talk about what to do after you change them, and let's kind of practice that. After you convert, then multiply like normal. So here's an example: 2 4/9 times 6/7. Well, you only have one that you're going to have to do any work to before you start. So when you change that to improper, you get 22/9 multiplied by that 6/7 that you had before, because it's in perfect format to use, and you get 132/63. Now you would just divide that to put it back into mixed, and you're finished. Okay? And you see that even I had to do work over here to figure out what 22 times 6 was. So if you have to do work to the side, that's fine. Okay, so let's do a question to see if we can kind of pull it all together. If Elaine walks 1.5 miles a day each day, how far does she then walk in a week? So one, you have to know how many days are in a week. How many days are in a week? And if you're doing this action every day, you're going to what? Add, multiply, subtract, divide. You're going to multiply. Okay, so you're multiplying 1.5 times 7. Okay, make sure you get this question written down. If you need to pause, go ahead. Here's what you would end up with as your question. We have to change 1.5 to improper. That's going to be 3/2. 2 times 1 plus 1. And then the 7 has to be put over 1 as well to make that be in fraction form. Multiply across, 21/2. Simplify. How many times does 2 go into 21? It goes in there 10 times with 1/2 left over. So she's going to walk 10.5 miles in a week's time if she walks